Last June 26, 2025, Ironhide released a tech test launch of their new game in a select few countries like Philippines, Uruguay, and Indonesia called Kingdom Rush Battles. This is their new official IP game, no copy, no knockoff. It was originally under the name Battle Towers and under a different company name called One Button Games. But this was all just an elaborate cover up for people to play the game even though it's not under Ironhide's name at that time. Because during that time, Kingdom Rush Alliance was still pretty fresh, and that game already had a lot of hype, so it wouldn't make much sense to release and announce two games at once. But since we are already here, it would be just be fitting to talk about the game now that it's officially out and it's under the actual Kingdom Rush name. It's a portrait multiplayer game played on the phone where you build decks using cards based on different heroes, towers, and spells. With said decks, you battle your opponent and win by either having your opponent lose all lives or by killing the final boss first. Seems pretty simple and straightforward gameplay, right? But now comes issues and negative feedback, with the biggest one being the Clash Royale and Bloons TD battle similarities. Let's start with the Bloons first since that is easier to tackle. Like, I don't get it. It is in the damn name, battles. Like, what do you expect? To only see your side and not be able to see your opponent? Why would people be complaining about this when the whole point of this game is to battle other people? Sure, the formula is similar, but this game has its uniqueness by its gameplay. Bloons doesn't have hero or unit micro where you move your hero around like in the map, but this game does. People like Shy Guy Mass praises this uniqueness of Kingdom Rush franchise as not much other tower defense games does this. I will move on to the other issues because the BTD copy accusation is just stupid. Now, the other issue is where people claim that this game is a Clash Royale ripoff. Now, this is a more valid accusation than the last. This is where people refer to the game's user interface being very similar, if not a direct copy, from Clash Royale. Because of this, a lot of people are judging the book by its cover by not wanting to play the game at all. And I'm not lying. You can just see all the people on Reddit, Discord, heck, even on my comments and on Prahan's video. For privacy, I won't show their names, but you can look them up if you want to. But I will admit though, they are not wrong. The UI is similar, but that doesn't mean I will hate bomb this game just because of that. Now, the devs did respond to this issue by saying that it is because most games already have this UI, making it a standard, meaning a lot of players already got used to this style of UI. Why make a more complicated UI if there's already something that we are familiar to, like Clash Royale? Which, in the devs' defense, is true. And it just made me realize how many other games use this style of UI and how convenient it actually is. Here on the screen are some examples that uses similar UI like Clash Royale. Let's look at it more in depth. Like, let's say here. Here's Plants vs. Zombies. Here's my account. Notice anything similar? The big battle button on screen. Can I say that Ironhide copied this? How about the moving logos at the back that both games have? Can I say that it's a copy? Maybe I'm stretching it a bit. Let's have another game like Transformers Tactical Arena. Now, how the hell could an IP as big as Transformers be an issue here? Well, just look at this. Pretty similar, right? From the battlefield to the deck building UI. But this game still has its uniqueness from the gameplay features and how the Transformers characters interact. Where to the point that I can say that this game is no copy or no knockoff. Another example? Fine. Let's look at another big brand like the Pokemon TCG. Again, here's my account. The big play button in the middle that every other game have. A profile section at the bottom. Of course, the deck building part. Could they say that this UI is a copy of PvZ heroes or vice versa? You have the actual deck to play on top, and the bottom are the cards that you own to put into the deck. Again, similar UI but very different gameplay. Heck, this game even has a ladder system where you can gain rewards and aim a higher rank. Could I say that a company as big as Pokemon would copy something from Clash Royale or from PvZ Heroes? No. It still has its own uniqueness, and I could easily say the same with Kingdom Rush Battle's ladder system. It has its way of by unlocking stuff like boosters, which can affect the way you play the game that the others game don't have. The deck building, though again similar to other games UI, it still has its own uniqueness by having you requiring to pick one hero, three spells, and four towers, while other games won't make you have this much restriction, but this game does. I can go on and mention more IPs and have the same arguments with the same answers. Similar UI, but different gameplay. Of course, there are those shameless knockoff games you see, but sometimes that is not always the case, and Kingdom Rush Battles is not one of them. Last issue that people are worried about is if this game is going to be pay to win. Aesthetically, yes, you could be overwhelmed by all the offers in the game that requires real money, but trust me, you really don't need any of these. Not unless you are a heavily skilled issue, which I hope you are not. My point is that you can play the game without spending extra real money. Let's bring up Clash Royale again. Here's my account, and as you can see, my arena and levels are pretty high. I did all of this without spending a single penny, and only during my free time. I'm like a casual in the Clash community compared to the Kingdom Rush community, but I was still able to make it this far. You guys should resist the temptation of how mobile games, especially the free ones, are structured. The game needs to earn money somehow, and we could surely understand that. I also have faith in this game in having a balanced matchmaking system, as one of the devs did say we would usually be matched against someone who has roughly the same level scaling as our cards. I'm not saying that you should not buy the stuff. If you have money, sure, go ahead, spend it on the game to support the devs. If not, it's okay. The game is still fully playable and is still fun, even without using real money. Don't feel FOMO or fear of missing out. It's easy to ignore these offers and just play the game normally. It just doesn't go with this game, but for others as well. Since this game is still very limited and only a few countries can play it, this game is not super final yet. More features are to come. These initial negative first impressions that the community is pumping out is not helping the game or Ironhide at all. If the bad vibes of the game spreads to people who have no idea what this is, and let's say I suggest to them this game to play, they will probably would not play it at all as words do have power. The community wanted a Kingdom Rush multiplayer for a long time, even before stuff like Kingdom Rush Vengeance or Origins was a thing. This is our chance for Kingdom Rush to grow bigger. If the game goes global, I ask you guys to play it and give it a shot. You might actually enjoy it.